Hey, Dr. C here. Nice to have you with me again today. We're going to do a couple of things today. We're going to talk about abnormal walking, abnormal gait, in other words, and posture. Those are the two topics for today. First, we're going to do the gait so I can show you some of the different ways that we can exercise to minimize problems with our gait. So, in order to do that, I have to walk. Let's do it. Normal gait, and I'm going to do that first. Normal gait will have, notice, normal gait. Normal gait. That's a normal gait. In other words, the feet are about the same width apart, and we swing our arms with the legs. We swing them as we go. Posture is perfect. That's a normal gait. Now, what is an abnormal gait? Well, first of all, most commonly, some pain. Say I got a pain in my right hip. So if I got a pain in that hip, I'm going to favor that hip. I'm not going to put full weight down with that hip. So I'm going to have a little, what they call, antalgic gait. In other words, I'm favoring that leg because it hurts. That's an antalgic gait. We'll talk about some treatment for that as well. There's a couple of other gaits. You have to depend on the muscles that are in the hips in order to stabilize that gait. One of the problems is a weakness in the gluteal muscles. First of all, remember there's three gluteal muscles. The gluteal muscles themselves, gluteus maximus, that extends the hip. Then there's the gluteus medius and minimus, that abducts. The leg goes out. Now, if you're weak in the gluteus maximus, that is the big gluteus muscle in the back, then you would have a particular, what they call a lurch gait, so that when you're walking, since you're weak, you're going to step forward and then you go back a little because this is weak. So that's a weak gluteus maximus. Now we're going to talk about the treatment for the exercises for that after I do this one. The second one is called a Trendelenburg gait. Now normally when we lift a leg, our pelvis should stay nice and straight right across the top of the pelvis. Nice and straight. Now if you're weak in the outside part, that gluteus medius and gluteus minimus muscles, if you're weak there, then when you lift that leg, we lift the pelvis up on that side and it drops on the other side. In other words, it's no longer straight across. That's called a Trendelenburg test. We test it by just having someone lift a leg up and watching the tilt of the pelvis. What do we do then for the two gluteal muscles? Well, what we do, basically, I'm going to use the chair, back facing the seat of the chair, arms come up, grab the sides of that seat. First, the gluteus maximus, leg back straight, lift the leg, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's if it's weak on that side. If it's weak on the left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. We need to do that roughly 20 extensions, 20 times up, at least 2 to 3 times a day to try to strengthen that muscle. Now, how do we strengthen the gluteus medius and minimus? Leg goes out, bend the knee, and then out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side, left leg, bend the knee and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's how you do it. Now, there are other ways to exercise the leg. For example, if you want to exercise that medius or minimus, you can simply stand next to a chair and go out. Remember, it's an abduction. If you want to increase the strengthening of that muscle, you can put a weight onto your ankle, maybe a 2 to 5 pound, I like a 5 pound weight, and go to the outside. And if you want to strengthen the gluteus maximus, you go back. With that weight, that really does improve the strength. Will that control that particular problem? It may, unless you've had a nerve injury. The gluteus maximus, if you hit that particular inferior nerve, inferior gluteal nerve, you're not going to get strength back because it doesn't have the nerve innervation. Medius and minimus, that's a different nerve. That's a superior gluteal nerve. Any nerve injury isn't going to get you back to where you were. So that is a particular thing with the walking and all. Now, there are other gaits. For example, Parkinson's disease. I'm going to get this over a little bit. Parkinson's disease, you take smaller steps. You're leaning forward with smaller steps. And you may all of a sudden go fast. That's a Parkinson's type of gait. I'll do that one more time. Slow steps, leaning forward, and then all of a sudden you go forward. That is in the later stages of Parkinson's disease. Another gait that we see is a wide base gait. Normally, we keep our feet roughly about hip width apart. And when we walk, we're about hip width apart. When you're walking, first thing you do, you put your heel down, heel, foot. So heel, foot. And we also have a certain cadence with our arms as well. So we look at all those aspects. We look at how fast you walk. We look at the cadence. We look at what you do with your arms. We look at your posture. All these things are things that we look at in a doctor's office if they even look at it. If they look at it. They look at all those different aspects to walking. Now, getting back to the gait again, hip width apart, normal. Now, it might be that you go a little out wider, and that's usually because of a neuropathy. Problem with the muscles, and you take a wide base gait, wide based, wider than normal. Now, that's not a normal gait. So, we're going to be doing some exercises to try to combat some of those things with your gait. Okay, that's it for the gait part. Let's talk a little bit about our posture. Now, as we age, there are things that happen with our posture. There's no question about it. And what sort of things are we talking about? Well, first of all, let's start up at the top. Start at the top. We had a whole program on facial yoga and facial strengthening. So I'm not going to repeat some of those things. I'm going to do the other problems that can occur in seniors with our posture. So one of the things that can happen, however, is that we're looking down all the time. Why? Well, because we're worried about an uneven surface that we're walking on. We don't want to trip. We don't want to go into a little hole or something. So we're kind of looking down all the time. Now that can lead to just walking naturally with the head looking down. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. You can also get what we call a foot drop. Now with a foot drop, we lost the nerve that innervates the muscles going down to contract that leg up. And so when we walk, we drag the front of the foot. That's a foot drop. That leads to a particular gait problem as well. Again, that usually is due to a nerve injury, so you're not going to get a lot of that muscle back. So what you have to do is to use a special type of splint that keeps the foot flat, so it doesn't drag down all the time. So what do we do for things like that? Well, let's do the following. First of all, onto your toes, out with the toe, in with the heel. Toe out, in heel. Toe out, in heel. Toe out, in heel. Other foot, toe out, heel in, out, heel in, out, heel in, out, heel in. So that is for the foot drop type of injury. And that's what we do to exercise it as best we can. Otherwise, let's work our way down. First of all, the person who's looking down all the time. What do we do for that? We got to strengthen those neck muscles. So we're going to do all of the different exercises for the neck, which includes extension and flexion. And 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're turning straight, looking straight ahead, turning to the sides. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going ear to shoulder. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do a rotation back. One side, down and around and back. 2 and 3. Now we're going opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. And then the final one, we're looking straight ahead. Pull it back. Jut it out. Pull it back. Jut it out. Don't move your body. Just as pure neck. 3, 4, 5. Okay, those are the different neck exercises. We can also stretch the platysma of the neck. Let's say that there's a neck issue. And we are doing our regular deep muscle exercises, those that we just did. We can also do platysma stretching. We're going to take our left hand, bring it over to the right side of the face. Right arm out, arm goes down, pull the head over. You'll feel that stretch in the platysma of the neck. You hold it for about 3 breaths. Use the right hand now onto the left side of the head. Left arm out. Stretch the left arm, stretch the head over. 3 breaths. And back. So that's the head and neck area. Now let's say that we have a shoulder issue. We usually, as you get older, muscles weaken a little in the front. And they get stretched in the back. So we tend to round our shoulders over. That happens a lot now if you're looking at a computer all the time. I really feel sorry for the younger people who have their nose in their little phone all the time. They're looking down at the phone, not paying attention to anything going on. I worry about their neck later with that, with looking at the phone all the time, and they're going to get an exaggerated rounded shoulder problem looking at that computer all the time. So we need to do something to stretch the front, strengthen the back, upper back muscles. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we're going to do some of the back muscles. Left arm out, right arm comes over to the inside of the left arm. We're going to exercise the top part. There's 3 different parts. Exercise the top. Pulling a bow and arrow, pulling the bow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to do 20 of those. Right arm out. Left arm pulls the bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do some of the mid-back area. So we're going to do a row. How do we do that? Holding those rows, pulling back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to do the low part. Separate our feet a little. Right hand on the inside of the left knee. Pull back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do our other side. Left arm inside of the right knee. Pull. 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's the upper back. And there are other exercises you can do. If you have a severe turning and rounding of those shoulders, you can go into this position, goalpost position, and you go up against the door jamb, pushing. Push against the jamb. What that does is that it pushes back, stretches all those muscles in between the 2 shoulder blades. Pushing back, like that, pushing back. Okay, so those are all of the different exercises for the muscles of the back. And at the same time, it stretches the front. Now, a simple way to just, and I tell people this at our class, look at your hands, hands down. Just turn your hands, palms facing forward. What happens? all of a sudden, shoulders go back too. So just simply turning palms forward. Simple exercise pulls those muscles back, stretches the front, tightens the back. So those are all great exercises for those shoulders. What other exercises can we do? Shoulders go out, arms out to the sides. And we do simple circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now touch the tips of your shoulders. And we just go down and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep them up and out and touch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep them up. Bring them forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now the final one. We're going to raise that left knee, touch it with the inside of the right elbow. Other side. Right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow. One more. Right, left, and down. Now you notice that we don't do a lot of these because some people have trouble with rotator cuff. You can, if you've had no trouble with your rotator, you can do with weights or you can use a band, either way, and just go all the way. Big circles all the way up. 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And otherwise, arms straight out, palms facing down, face them up. Simple, just like that. Plus, that helps with the elbow joint too. Simple exercise. Palms up, palms down. Just like that. All those are great as we age. Okay, good aging exercises. So that is the shoulders. Now what about, when I'm talking now to the women, what about those sagging breasts? Can you do anything about those? Well, what you can do is to try to strengthen the pectoralis muscle a little bit. That's not a lot that you can do. You can wear a support bra, obviously, which helps. But at least try to strengthen that pectoralis muscle. That helps. Now, how do we do that? Well, you need to have something to pull against a resistance. So what we usually do is use weights. I didn't bring weights with me today, but we're going to assume I have weights. Pulling. 2, 3. Because if you're going against a resistance, you're strengthening that pectoralis muscle. That's what's doing this. Pulling. Now, pectoralis muscle is a big muscle, covers the chest in the front. Has several components to it. So going at different levels, this gets the top part, this gets the middle part, and this gets the lower part. Just like that. So you want to exercise that pectoralis muscle. That helps. Not the only thing, but it does help. We can also help to get rid of some of the stuff, the hanging stuff underneath by doing the stretching first, stretching over, and over, and over. We can also, besides the stretching, you can just do those exercises like this again and going up and down, like that. Those are all helping to get rid of that little overhang in that area. What about your abs? We can get love handles on the sides. We can get an overhang in the front as well. In fact, I'm not going to make a big to-do about that, but you can get an overhang here and you can get love handles here. What can we do about that? Well, first of all, abs exercises. We have our feet about roughly chair width apart. Hands across the chest. Back nice and straight. Bring our back till you touch the chair and then bring it forward. Bring it back. Bring it forward. Breathing in as you go back. Breathing out as you come forward. Breathing in as you go back. Breathing out as you come forward. Breathing in as you go back. And breathing out as you come forward. What else can we do? We can exercise and get rid of some of that stuff on the side, the love handles. Right hand down, over with the left, over with the right. Right hand down, over with the left. Left hand down, over with the right. And finally, left hand up, right hand down. That helps on those love handles. What else can we do? Well, we also can, and I usually use a band for this, but basically, when I hold that band, I drop one hand back and paddle a canoe. Paddle a canoe. Paddle a canoe. Paddle a canoe. Pulling on that band every time. Paddling. You can also do swimming. Swimming is excellent. We can do overhand swim. Remember, following through. Follow through with your overhand swim. Overhand swim. And then you can go backstroke, 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 back, 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 back. Or you can do breaststroke, breaststroke. And 3, 4, and 5. Okay, get that breaststroke in. We can also do ringing the bell. 2 hands together, ring the bell. 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can chop wood, hands over to the left, chop to the right, chop to the right, chop to the right. Hands to the right, chop to the left, left, and left. Okay, all those things are things that we can do to improve our gait and our posture. This is Dr. C. Have a nice day.